My name is Louis Almeida. I'm the teacher, student, mentor, and coach on the philosophy of Spinoza and Gurdjieff. Today's topic is about Deepak Chopra. I learned about Deepak Chopra during the mid-90s. I was a young student of my teacher, Gregory Grover, of the Spinoza and Gurdjieff Center of Santa Monica. Deepak Chopra came to the scene. He's written books. He was interviewed by Oprah Winfrey, and his teachings and his ideas just took off. He's been a steady educator on PBS, and people love him. Some of my friends who were students of Spinoza during that time, during the 90s, were followers of Deepak. And I found that his book, his first book, and I forget the name of it, was quite provocative and stimulating and controversial. Deepak has a great background. He was a doctor, a physician. He studied biochemistry and physics, biophysics, and his lectures, his ideas, change the attitudes of many people. I would say that his ideas reflect the idea of science of mind, a religious organization, that the mind has power over the body. I think Deepak advocates that the body, all the organs, all the cells of the body, basically is energy. All energy. We all are energy. And the idea that consciousness is energy. He also advocated that it's possible that the body can live forever, that the mind has great influence over the body. There are other organizations such as Law of Attraction. However, I feel there's no such thing as an easy path for enlightenment. I think everyone wants to become enlightened, or come to enlightenment. What does that mean? Well, a higher level of consciousness. What does that look like? A little bit about Deepak Chopra, his background. He was from India, and he came to the U.S. and he studied medicine. And he has quite a background. And he began to incorporate what he learned in medicine, and also he studied the neurosciences, how the brain works, and how the body is modified, and how the chemicals of the body influences or trigger the hormones that affect the mind. There are hormones that feel good hormones like serotonin, dopamine, and others. And there's cortisol, which is a hormone that helps us flee or flight. I'm not a scientist. I have no background in mathematics or physics. But I learned from Spinoza. Spinoza was a 17th century teacher, philosopher, wrote a book called The Ethics, which was published after his death. But what did Spinoza promote or talk about? He had talked about the idea of freedom. Freedom from our emotional attachments. As I said, there is no such thing as an easy fix. Everybody is attracted. We all are attracted to someone, something that will help us get to a place where we wish we could be. And where is that place? Beyond our feeling of sadness or depression, we want to go beyond our anger and feeling emptiness. I think that man has a sense of more. That man is truly empty, and that he is seeking something. What is that something? Well, he might, if he has a religious background, he might be interested in certain religious groups. But if that is not satisfying, he can't find some real sense of self or fulfillment in those beliefs, he might go towards or lead towards Mid-Eastern or Indian philosophies. Before I met my teacher during the early 70s and late 60s, I met individuals who were attracted to transcendental meditation. So I was in that for a couple of years, but I found that it didn't change anything every time I tried to go into a yoga position, which is very difficult, but try to meditate. And I always found that I fell asleep. So I wasn't very good at it. Plus, I didn't feel that it really helped me in any way. It did help me relax, no question. And I think today Transcendental Meditation is very useful for helping people center themselves and try to stop the negative self-talk. But Deepak Chopra, he became very famous. His books were read, his lectures, people attended them, and he was extremely popular in the 90s and in the 2000s, and today, 2019, his audience has decreased its popularity, but he still attracts quite an audience. But those who tried Deepak's methods found that it didn't work. I think we all live by hope. Hope that something will work. Hope that we can be in a different place. And what is that place? I found through Spinoza and Gurdjieff. Gurdjieff first, when I first met my teacher, he introduced Gurdjieff. Who is Gurdjieff? Gurdjieff was a mystic, early 20th century. He lived during he lived through the Russian Revolution, and eventually he moved to France. He had a great group in Fontainebleau. One of his students, called Ouspensky, wrote a book called In Search of the Miraculous. What a great book. And that's the book I follow and read, and I request my students who are attracted to the work that I do. And what is that work? Gurdjieff says that it's possible to awaken. What does that mean? To awaken the mind is come to our true intelligence. What is the intelligence? As Spinoza says, that the mind consists of ideas. The mind is a thinking thing. I think this is where Deepak Chopra missed the boat. He believed that we are, yes, molecules and energy, and the mind is energy. But energy is one aspect of the physical universe. At the attributes of God, or this infinite being called God or nature, Spinoza's God is not the traditional God. His God is what Einstein would say, my God is the God of Spinoza. But what did he mean? Spinoza's God has to do with nature, infinite nature, comprised of infinite attributes. And we are part of two. We are a mode of these attributes, called the attribute of thought, which has to do with thinking and understanding. The other attribute, the attribute of extension, has to do with the physical universe. And I think this is where Deepak Chopra focused on, is the physical universe. He did not understand the attribute of thought. If he read and studied Spinoza, I don't think he would go the direction he did. I think Deepak Chopra mentioned the idea that it's possible that man does not have to die, that he doesn't have to have diseases, that it's all in his mind. I think the mind has a great influence, yes, but not direct influence. Spinoza's idea is the mind is the idea of the body, and the body is the object of the mind. They're one and the same, expressing two distinct attributes. So whatever goes on in the body The mind has an idea of it. So when we judge something that we see, and we live by our five senses, touch, smell, sight, hearing, and taste. This is our source of information, particularly sight and sound. We see people, we see images, and depending on our background, those images can give us pleasure or pain. If you're Indian and you follow, you're a Hindu, and you come across a Muslim, you might feel threatened. Likewise, if you're a Muslim and you come across a Hindu, you might feel angry. If you're a Christian, you see a Muslim, you might feel threatened or feel angry. There's so much prejudice. This prejudice is learned behavior. So the first days of our life, of existence, we're born into an environment, and that is we believe who we are. We're Indian or French or English or from Turkey or whatever. We might be from Iran. We might be Persian. It doesn't matter. We share the same attributes, extension and thought. However, the mind, and this is where I think Deepak Chopra is confused. He really doesn't understand what the mind is. He thinks the brain is the mind, a part of the mind. The brain is the storehouse of information. It helps regulates all the systems of the body. The systems, the immune system, the electrical system, the blood system, the skeletal system, the lymphatic system, all the systems. It works with the heart and the gut and the spinal cord. So the body, the sight and sound, picks up information, and the mind endeavors to understand or categorize that information and puts it back into the brain. So whatever happens to the body, the mind is aware of that effect, and then that effect is stored in the memory. So the brain is also a storehouse of memory. That's why you can learn to walk, to talk, to listen. So where do we go from here? For those who want to know more about how to really awaken the mind, how to begin to learn what true self-approval is, to learn how to love oneself, to come to your own self-approval. Most of us seek approval from others. Some of us do not know how to love. Some of us are afraid of intimacy or afraid of social interaction. Some of us talk too much. Some of us do things we wish we didn't. Some of us have an addictive nature. Some of us cannot sleep. Some of us are depressed. Spinoza found a way to be happy, fulfilled, and come to blessedness. He found a way, a method, and I like to share that with you. Look down below, and you'll see a direction to how to contact me. I ask you to email you if you have any questions. I hope to hear from you. Have a good evening and have a good day.